far will you go to be famous? This episode unpacks the documentary Dying to Be Famous. Buckle up because it is a tragic ride. A model from Atlanta takes a trip to LA while driving back to Las Vegas. His rental car breaks down in Death Valley. Highway patrol spots him and brings him to a gas station. While waiting for his friend, he vanishes. This episode is Dying to Be Famous with Ryan Singleton. All right. The breakdown. Hey everyone, welcome to the True Crime Remix.
This is excitement at its best.
Excitement all the way, because look, we're back from the new year, so we're having a good time here. That's what it is. So, hey everyone, welcome to the True Crime Remix, where we discuss true crimes related to vengeance, scams, murders, and strange disappearances from the Black perspective. Please make sure you like us and subscribe. Feel free to also listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Podcasts, Audible, and Anchor. And guess who I'm here with today? Kathy is back from filming. Yay! And of course, we have Kim in the house. Hey. With her undenying laughter when I'm trying to be serious, and she just messes me all the way up. But it's hilarious. This week, we are covering the disappearance of Ryan Singleton. The information we gathered was pulled directly from this documentary called Dying to Be Famous, the Ryan Singleton story. This was a miniseries told from the eyes of his friends. Well, the first 4 episodes. And that 5th one, we'll get to that one a little bit later because I don't know who recorded that, but that definitely wasn't the friends. Yeah. The players in this are Iris, Ryan's mother, Ryan's 4 friends, the Entourage, and Kaif or Keith. They can't make up their mind which one it was his name in this, because the friends did not like him. So I'm gonna say Kaif because the man said his name was Kaif. And a few mystery folks that pop up later. The 4 friends, Ryan, Antonio, Jared, and Lance, wanted to be the Black Entourage. And they documented their lives in hopes of filming a reality show about themselves and Ryan's exploding modeling career. They compared themselves to the actual Entourage characters. In this, Ryan was Vance, the star of the show, just like Entourage. Yeah. In 2008, Ryan met Antonio while working as a barback. I'm not sure if Antonio was just trying to be nice here, but later on we find out that Ryan was actually a male dancer. Anyway, Antonio said Ryan was a model, and Ryan was like, well, make me one. Yeah, I mean, if you say I look like a model, hey, make me one. Right. Yes. I will also say this. Ryan did look like a model. He was 6'4" with sun-kissed skin and this beautiful smile. Like every time when I was watching this documentary, every time Ryan popped up on the screen, his smile, even though it's a really tragic story, but every time he smiled, it just made me smile. So yeah, you just have to see. Oh, it's sadder. Yeah, it is. It's hard. Yeah, you have to see some of the footage of him when he smiles. He just really lights up the room. His mother said that she knew Ryan was special, but not how special. She said in elementary school, Ryan always strived to do better, and it actually affected him. And unfortunately, this is something I can relate to all too well. Like, you trying to do your best, so you're trying to just, feel like you just have to do better. No matter what, you always feel like you haven't achieved enough and you just gotta do better. That overachiever syndrome. Shut up, Kathy. Shut up. Hold on.
Did not say.
If you're looking at this on anything but YouTube, the way she is looking at me when I said that overachiever, because I do know I have issues.
She is an overachiever. But okay, carry on.
Yeah, speaking of overachieving, yes, I did just get my master's degree. Hey!
We have a lot to celebrate, but we'll get back to that.
Yeah, we'll
shortly.
get back to the celebrating.
All right.
Yep. All right. So, in 2004, Ryan met Kelly in high school, his girlfriend. In 2007, at the University of Alabama, Ryan was suspended for failing to pass even one class. Like he got into college and it just, school just wasn't for him. So anyway, he returned home but wanted to be a model. His girlfriend Kelly was a model. They broke up and Ryan took it hard. He found out she was cheating and caught her in an act. This pushed Ryan to model and he told Antonio he needed a manager. So basically that was why he made that comment. Oh, I look like a model? Oh, that's right up my alley because Kelly was a model. Make me a model then. That's where that mentality comes from.
Got it.
Yep. Antonio says Ryan helped him bond with his children. He said it, but I don't really know how it helped him bond with the children because I really couldn't tell. I think Antonio was in his 30s and Ryan was like very early 20s at this time. So I guess I can kind of see that in a way. In 2010, Antonio was moving and Ryan showed up to help him move and convinced Antonio to let him move with him. Ryan lied to his mom about going to a photo shoot and hit the road with Antonio.
I'm sorry.
What?
He was gonna go. He told her he was going to a photo shoot and then just like left the state or.
Yeah, he cut out. He was like, yo, mom, gone. But remember, he was in his 20s, though. So he was grown when he did this. I just don't think he wanted to hear, what a mom would have to say. Like, because imagine me and Bird.
Yeah, but your kids, I mean, and then that young, you're like, you don't think about anything happening other than what you want to do and having a good time. And you're not thinking about nothing else but, yes, I want to do this.
Right, like the structure of it all.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to go.
So from June 2010 through 2011, she had no clue where her child was. The crew decided to start filming once in New York. Jared and Lance followed behind Ryan and Antonio shortly after, the other part of the Entourage. They literally studied the show Entourage and mapped out like what each person would do. Like that was their blueprint. They watched all the shows, and this is what they wanted to do.
That was a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show. Yeah. Same. They said Ryan was too trusting and couldn't tell when people were trying to play him. He said it got him into trouble, and this will come into play later. The crew then moved to Brooklyn. Antonio handed Ryan Vogue magazines to practice poses and walking. He started doing fashion shows, and the rest of the crew started learning film equipment. They used it to record themselves and the shows Ryan booked. And let me tell you, they did a very, very good job of documenting everything that they were doing. And this is how this documentary, that's why it was so well put together, because you see Ryan a lot of times in his own words.
Okay.
Telling his story because of how well they put this together. Like it was put together very, very well, where they do those, what do you call them on a reality show? Like, and I should know this, the confessionals. Yeah, when they do those confessionals and just capturing footage of the moments and things like that. So we got to see a lot of Ryan modeling, all sorts of good stuff with this. Yeah. Ryan kind of joked about how the other models acted in one of the confessionals, specifically one woman and her fierce looks. This was just showing the type of sense of humor that he had throughout this. He was a fun-loving guy, but modeling is just definitely his passion. And he felt like the other models just took it too serious. They had fun, but soon realized some of the people Ryan got involved with in the modeling industry would get him in trouble. In 2011, Ryan went from being an introvert and then breaking out of his shell.
Speaking of crazy, we love true crime, and guess what? We are also filmmakers. Join us for the premiere of our crime thriller, Keeping Secrets, on January 28th. You can celebrate with us by watching along on Amazon or Tubi. Once again, this is our movie. It's about a cop who has to go undercover at a strip club in order to catch a serial killer. Sound familiar? Check us out on January 28th and go ahead and leave us a review. Once again, that's Keeping Secrets, and it's our film.
He said he was glad to make the change. Ryan had considered ATL the Chitlin circuit, and the East Coast was a whole new world. Like, come on. I mean, we're in ATL too, and I do understand because we have been to some events that are,
And we do call it.
we call it like we do call it the Chitlin circuit. But shout out to my partner, Kathy Tello, for making our events look amazing. So our stuff is not the Chitlin circuit. Not at all. Yeah.
I love Zip It.
Yep. The entourage worked because they played different roles and filled out the puzzle. They were in their groove, and Ryan got into Fashion Week. Designers saw Ryan immediately and wanted him. He booked 7 shows for Fashion Week. That's a lot of
That's
shows.
what's up.
Yeah.
For a newcomer,
He's smiling up something.
right?
Yeah, he definitely was. The camera team was asked to do the red carpet at Lincoln Center.
Whoa.
However, one show was a blood-like sacrifice, and it was eerie because of how Ryan was later found, looking sacrificial. They were shocked at the theme of that show. Antonio did not like the fashion designer, Kaif / Keith. Ryan thought he was weird, but liked him. Antonio called the sacrifice show some voodoo shit. The crew. I'm sorry, but y'all have to see the documentary. Like when he pops up on the screen, and everybody was like, "Yeah, the show was kind of." Antonio was like, "That's some voodoo shit."
Like, we just gonna get right to it.
Yeah, it was too much for him. The crew was all like, "What the hell?" and told him he didn't need to do the show. But Ryan was down for whatever. He really wanted his modeling career to work. So Ryan was like, it was his dream, and he needed to do it. Jared, who rarely talks, said, "Yeah, it's kind of creepy and weird." The crew said after that, the friendship with Kaif took off without them even knowing it. Then it cuts to his mom repeating a conversation saying that he did things to hurt people. A conversation she had with Ryan. Like, she just said that, "Mom, you won't know some of the things that I did. Like, I really hurt people." She assumed it had to do with drugs, but, he denied any drug use at the time, and nobody ever seen him use drugs. Then the story jumped to how much Ryan was getting booked after Fashion Week. He was booked in gold shorts, super small shorts, super duper small shorts, but he looked so nice in this. Like, his body was like for a model. He just had that model-esque look walking down that runway. And that's when Iris, his mom, finally sees Ryan on Facebook and knew her child was okay. Can you imagine not seeing your child and all this time, and finally you pop up on Facebook at Fashion Week?
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, but he's doing what he loves, so you really can't be mad, and he's grown. After Fashion Week, Ryan got passed up on by an agent. He said it was his lack of personality and took it really hard. Basically, they said, he wasn't outgoing and all this. And, they did show a video footage of him, and he just was kind of down on himself, and he was like, he needed to be more outgoing, more whatever. And I kind of think it was probably some other things behind the scenes with that. Maybe he wasn't willing to do certain things at this time. And I'm going to get up into that later because of what happens. Yeah, the team tried to say, "F them people," and take it as an opportunity to get better.
Right.
They decided to go to LA and be film producers. People thought it was a dumb idea because things were just getting started. Ryan, on his mini confessional, said, "Bye glitz and glam to hello gin and juice." The entourage packed up in a van and rode out. They stopped everywhere along their trip to see the sights and had a good time. Some of this route would also be part of the very route that Ryan took later.
It just don't sound good.
No, none of it. Yeah, it sounds horrible. Once in LA, a woman running for mayor hired them for her campaign. They took off as soon as they got to LA. When they got to LA, they hit the ground running. They filmed events and television shows, and Ryan just blossomed here. He finally called his mom after a year on his 22nd birthday. She was happy that he was safe. Now, mind you, he's seen her in New York at the fashion show, Months later is when she gets this actual phone call from him. So she hadn't physically spoken to her son in all this time.
That's strange.
That is strange.
At this point, things were going good, but the entourage slowly began to fracture. In 2012, Ryan backed away from modeling and dove into sketching. The friends really backed him, and he wanted to go, and everybody just went along with whatever he wanted to be in life because they were a team. Like Lance wanted to party and not be a film producer. So basically, Lance got into LA and fell into the LA lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah.
Hustle done.
Yeah. He ended up leaving the group for an older woman and they lost contact. Ryan took it really hard. He struggled with accepting his success and kept feeling like he had to do more. Ryan showed up with a film offer from Kaif, the blood sacrifice producer. The friends said he was young and impressionable and seduced by Kaif. The crew ended up doing the film with Kaif called Black November with big name actors in this film. They shot the behind the scenes, the entourage shot the behind the scenes footage for the film. That's when they noticed Ryan starting to pull away. They all said they did not trust him, even the new guy, Doug. So, Lance left and then enters Doug, a new guy of the entourage. Doug seemed pretty cool too. He seemed like he really cared, from the video footage. He seemed like he really, really cared about Ryan. And, he was around years later still telling his story. So, hey, Doug was a good fit. One of the guys knew he was after something, he being Kaif, and they could tell it was Ryan. At production meetings, he kept asking for Ryan to come along. Kaif told Ryan he didn't need the group, basically. Ryan actually said this on a confessional. Wow. And this isn't hearsay. Ryan actually said it out of his own mouth. Kaif started introducing Ryan as his boyfriend, and Ryan was upset, but basic long went forward with the film. Like, because at this time, Ryan was presenting as straight.
Yeah, because he had the girlfriend, Kelly.
Didn't we all see this coming? Okay.
Said it what?
I didn't see that.
I saw this coming from the Gold Small Shorts. Just everything about the story leading up to this. I saw this coming.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess in the modeling world, I'm so used to seeing people in
world.
Okay, well,
okay,
got it. Noted.
I didn't see this.
I didn't want to spoil it, but go ahead.
Yeah. All right. The crew got to go to the United Nations and were the only camera crew there along with CNN. They hoped to bond while there in New York. Kaif got to film him for making a fashion show at the United Nations. He had them sleeping. No, excuse me. Kaif, not Ryan, had them sleeping in his studio space with no running water, and they thought this was very weird because if you're supposed to be this big time producer, why do you have us in this studio space? You don't have any running water. It's cold. They were like, this is no. Antonio was like, nah, we good, and got everybody a hotel. Not doing this. Yeah. So after it was all said and done, they ended up not getting paid for that film, Black November, from Kaif. And the entourage really, really started struggling because, you're doing this film, you're not getting paid. From being in the film world, we definitely know how that is when you're giving up your time and then you're not getting a check. That's really hard. Yep. Antonio confronted Kaif and they got into a fist fight. That probably was like, yo, dude, you gonna give me my money.
Right.
What's up? Because we fighting over this. Antonio said Kaif grabbed him by the locks. So he punched him in the face. Yeah. Antonio told Kaif Ryan was like a son to him and he was trying to take him away. Kaif started showing him that he would basically take Ryan away. The crew tried to talk to Ryan about Kaif, but Ryan saw, opportunities. He was being whispered to in the ear by the voodoo sacrifice person.
Yeah, but we understand opportunities.
Yeah, people.
Opportunists.
Yes, opportunist, and he's young and impressionable, and he think that hey, this is gonna. But the crew received, the crew went about their way back to LA. They received a call in which they were threatened about the footage from the film. Basically like, you're gonna hand over that footage. And they weren't paid for it. The message basically was like, you're gonna bring that footage or else, and it was a serious threat.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they turned over the footage to it. After that, they was like, the hell with this, we're out of here. They left, but Ryan stayed with Kaif in New York.
Mm-hmm.
At this,
so he went from boyfriend to little brother. Okay, carry on. Just noted.
Wow.
He went from boyfriend to little brother.
Okay. So Ryan walked away from the group.
Yes, Ryan walked away from the group. The group then fell apart, and Antonio and the rest of the crew moved back to Atlanta and started over. Months later, social media showed that Ryan got married to an older man. The group was shocked. Ryan wouldn't respond to anyone. Antonio found out from Ryan's mother that the man that he got married to was Kaif. There were no other indicators that Ryan was gay. Kathy begs to differ. But indications of him doing whatever it took to make his dreams come true. And Kathy said otherwise. The friends thought he was manipulated. They found out Ryan was staying in the studio in filth. This information came from other mutual friends that they had. They said Ryan called them and said Kaif was controlling him.
No duh.
Yeah. Entourage, the entourage was like, how was that better? You live in filth. How was that better than being with us?
Right.
That's crazy. The manipulation just was so strong. Jovan, a mutual friend, spoke on camera, and he said he met Ryan at a fashion show, and Ryan told him he didn't want to be in a relationship with Kaif, and that it was a call for help. And it looked like Ryan was on drugs. He looked stressed, and his skin had broken out. Okay. So the videos from the confessional that they had of Ryan, when you first see Ryan, his skin is baby soft, smooth, and perfect. And on some of that later footage that you see of him, his skin, he kind of dried out. So looked like something is going on.
Yeah, stressed out. He was doing it for all of the wrong reasons.
All in the wrong reasons.
And got caught up. So he was being manipulated. And that's half of the problem when we're out here dating big age different gaps and we haven't lived enough to know the difference of what we need to be doing and not. It causes issues. But
and you separated from your family, right? Like he wasn't even talking to his mom, and how can you, like, you can't make good judgment. You don't have anyone in your corner.
No, that's absolutely true. Like you don't have anybody around you at this point. You're isolated. Sounds like an abuser.
Yeah.
Speaking of ideas, don't have the time to research or create ideas for your own business? Or maybe you just want to expand your empire while opening up a new stream of revenue? Well, Mind Over Matter Publications has you covered. Enroll into their private label program and develop your own journals. You can customize your own scent for candles and so much more. They collab with companies to provide services for fundraisers, not-for-profit organizations, realty groups, schools, and so on. So think outside the box and visit mom.publications.com or email mindovermatterpub.com today. Again, visit mom.publications.com or email mindovermatterpub.com for more details. And let them know that the True Crime Remix sent you.
February 2013, the mom gets a call that said Ryan can't take it anymore. He said he wanted to come home, and he ended up going home for Easter. She said they had real fun. He didn't talk about his marriage, and she was just happy that her baby was home. That's all it was. But Easter dinner ended up being with Kaif at Cynthia Bailey's home.
Okay.
Yes, at Cynthia Bailey's home.
Hmm.
But remember, Cynthia Bailey is model, model into that fashion kind of stuff. I don't know if she was part of that film that they didn't get paid from though, because they didn't say who the names were on that film. So I don't know if she was part of that, but they end up doing it at Cynthia's house. The mama said she was there and she was watching everything. She was a hawk. I don't know. She was like, there was no connection between Ryan and Kaif, this person that he supposedly married. The next day, she picked him up to drop him off at the airport. She said Ryan cries tsunami tears. She left him and got a call later to say, basically come back and get me. He was like, he ain't going. So heck yeah, she turned around and she went and got her baby. Yeah, the entourage was back together. They were happy. Doug's words were, I'm happy he left that nasty ass Kaif.
And not for nothing, I'm pretty sure I've seen Kaif on TV when I used to be a fan of the Real Housewives, and it's just so interesting how people don't present. I guess they present their their alter egos or the representatives.
Representative.
Yeah, right. It's the representative. So on that show, we saw the representative.
Yeah.
Man.
Ryan came back and was proving himself, to the entourage. He was back as a team, but they said something just seemed like it was bothering him though, but they couldn't figure out what it was. July 4th of 2013, Ryan asked his mom for a ride and it was to a strange place. This is what she said. It was 11:30 at night. So she asked, her boyfriend at the time to drive with her, and they dropped him off on Peachtree, which is downtown, late at night on the top floor of a parking garage. So everything just was strange about it. And when he came back, he ended up handing her $100 bills. The next day, he wanted a ride to the airport. She was confused because things, were going so good with the entourage and him being home. And, she was just happy to have him back. And she also said that she told him that it felt like he was going to leave her again. And he was like, no, Ma, I would never do that. Mm-hmm. This was from the documentary, what she was saying. He's like, no, Mom, I would never do that to you. You think I would do that to you again? She's like, you already did it once. Like, right. I ain't stupid. Right. Yeah. So she took him to the she said she took him to the train for him to take the train to go back to the airport. And she said she just looked at him walk away, and that was the last time she saw him.
Speaking of folks doing too much, have you watched Faded Reunion yet? Then what are you waiting for? It's the perfect blend of drama and comedy and a great way to reset from all of this true crime. So, what's it about? I'm so glad you asked. Mandy is desperate to impress at her 10-year reunion and will do whatever it takes, but so is her rival Jessica. So Mandy brings along the handsome Dr. Dante Perez as her wingman, and that's when things get crazy. And guess what? It's written and directed by yours truly. Check it out now. You can watch it on Tubi or YouTube, and the best part is free. So what are you waiting for? Go watch it now. Thank you for listening to part 1 of the Disappearance of Ryan Singleton that covered episodes 1 to 3 of the documentary. Join us next week for the conclusion of Dying to Be Famous, the documentary on Bounce TV, as we dive into parts 4 to 5 and his 74 days disappearance. Thank you for listening or watching this episode of the True Crime Remixed with your host, Omega Keys, and my girls, Kathy Taylor and Kimberly Edward. Don't forget to subscribe.